as Joe was saying, that there's some potential carryover from Indiana to Chicago just in terms of play style, volume of threes, that kind of thing. What do you see in terms of the potential opportunities to try to build off of the defense that you had from the nights ago?
Yeah, we've faced three opponents that are pretty similar. Memphis is top in the league in pace, just raw possessions. Indiana's seventh, I think, and Chicago's top five. So three teams that try to move the ball up the floor quickly, try to attack on makes and misses, and are going to test your ability to get back and set. And in both of those games, I think we've had possessions we wish we could have back in terms of setting our defense against that type of speed. But we've had enough possessions where we've gotten back and settled them into the half court, and that'll be our challenge again tonight. On track, on his progression. Obviously had the injury and is now part of recovery. And like we said many times, guys don't go from walking boots to the court. So he's right where he's supposed to be. He's done a great job. I've been super impressed with him and Topic all season with just their ability to approach a long-term rehab. And in AJ's case, he was playing great and playing rotation minutes for us, and really hasn't skipped a beat in terms of his overall approach. And that can be hard. It's easy to wish he was under a different set of circumstances. He doesn't do that at all. He's been as consistent as anything. So he's done a great job.
Yeah, Mark, another game against Billy tonight. Back in 2010, he hires you away from Holy Cross. What kind of a break was that for you in your career? Just going down there and just getting started in that environment. What that step mean for your career?
I mean, everything. Certainly wouldn't be here if not for that. The opportunity to be a part of a program that was that established at the time, a coach that was that established at the time, and then not only the opportunity on the front end, but the responsibility they gave me over those 4 years allowed me to sharpen my blade and also position me to be hired for a job like the G League job here. And he's also an unbelievable personal influence. He and Christine on Ashley and I mean, I've probably spent more holidays at his house than anywhere else other than with my family, just those years in Florida. So he's had a great personal and professional influence on me. Wouldn't be here without him. All the respect in the world for him.
Mark, this morning, Terrence was talking about whenever you guys didn't have a big, and there was kind of a meeting, I guess, of the players with you involved of just how important that time would end up being at the end of the season as well. I was just wondering for you, whenever this team is fully healthy, how valuable is it to still have that tool of going small in your toolbox?
Yeah, and I was impressed. We've obviously, because of Chet's injury, we've tried to really make up for lost time with that lineup with he and Hart out there, and even he and Jay Will since he's been back. And that's bit into our small lineups. Jay Will's also played so well that it's been very difficult to not play him, which bites into the small lineups. And I just thought the other night against Indiana, our ability to kind of pivot back into that when we haven't really worked on it a lot lately shows that there's some pretty solid habits there and that the system can still be pliable. It has, certainly very strong strengths and it has very strong weaknesses. It's probably our highest variance option, but it's an option, and it's something that we've had success with. And there's situations that we'll use it, down the stretch here and potentially into the playoffs.
There was at least kind of a mini celebration acknowledgement, whatever you want to call it, for winning 61, setting the franchise record. I'm just curious why you think that one maybe sticks as something that you guys kind of want to acknowledge.
Well, I think, one of the things that we want to practice is gratitude. And when you get to be a part of a team like this, not only the success on the court, but the way it feels every day, that's not, permanent or guaranteed, and the team deserves to celebrate when they have a special accomplishment, and that doesn't mean that you stop there and that becomes an endpoint, but celebrating those things is important. And then this is a great organization that's had a lot of success in a short period of time. We honor the teams that came before us and players and staff and all those things, and acknowledging that and celebrating that, I think, is important along the way when you have something like that happen. That's not something to be taken lightly. And some of these guys are young, so like Cason Wallace is has only played on 60-win teams. So it's also important to, like give him some perspective. Not that the whole thing was about Kaysen, but we got to keep that guy in line. But it's good perspective, for a young team that, and understanding not every season's like this. And we're not shy about celebrating that, but we're also not shy about getting ready to play the next game either. No, I mean, just acknowledge it with the team in the privacy of the team setting.
Hey, Mark, you obviously had the connection with Alex dating back to the G League, but now that you've had him for almost a full season at this stage of his career, what has impressed you the most about him?
What's most impressive is the things that haven't changed, rather than the things that have. I mean, he's always been, I've said this many times in our market, but he's eternally present in the game. He's never not present or distracted when it comes time to handle the next possession or even, the spaces in between the game, dead balls, timeouts, halftime, and he's always in the team. He's never focused on himself. He's never focused on how it's going for him. He struggled to shoot the ball early in the season, and it never impacted his energy, his defense, his effort, any of the things that you want the team to bring to the table. And now, because of his gravity as a veteran and what he's accomplished in his career, the reputation he has, all those things are that much more contagious. They were when he was a rookie just because of who he is, but now it's like supercharged and it's had a great impact on our team.
Mark, following up on Barry's question, can you remind us how you first got your foot in the door at Florida?
I mean, the Ralph Willard I work for at Holy Cross, he worked with Billy at Kentucky. They're both like from the Patino thing. Ryan Ford is a really good friend of mine, really good friend of Billy's, kind of connected us. There were a few connections to the program, but it was really just Ryan and his relationship with Billy, his relationship with me. And I was looking to go back to grad school. So it's just basically, I was looking for a grad school and a place I could continue to work at. And it was way more than I bargained for. I was just kind of hoping to be a fly on the wall. And next thing you know, he had me in the middle of everything. It was a huge break for me.
Josh has had a hot streak for the past month plus. I just want to ask you, as someone who's been watching since the very beginning of his rookie year, when you're revisiting the tape for this matchup, what stood out the most of, I guess, his growth from where he was here to where he is, I guess, this year?
I'm not going to pretend I know a ton about it. I haven't watched a ton of Chicago. I've seen a little bit in preparation for this, but I'm studying us a lot more closely than I am them. But I mean, he's playing with great confidence. I think he's playing a role that allows him to spread his wings for sure. And I'm happy for him. I mean, he's done a great job. He's obviously shown a lot of capability when he was here as well, but he seems to be really hitting a stride coming out of All-Star break, and the team's playing really well as well.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.